on 12OZSportsRadio.com. I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. We are live in Baltimore, Maryland, which is home of the Baltimore Orioles and the Baltimore Ravens. Who's excited? It's the 109th show today. And one more day until the weekend. Breaking news, Tennessee has more positive tests. Pro Football Talk posted on their Twitter page. Players agreed to not be paid for games that are, quote, canceled or suspended. They agreed to not be paid for games that are forfeited. That dynamic could keep the NFL from declaring any forfeits in 2020. Starting with Bills Titans this weekend. Simply put, just like in baseball, you don't give teams forfeits, but they play less games. And I think the Buffalo Bills and the Tennessee Titans personally are going to be in the playoffs this year. So that's just my opinion on it all. That's just my opinion on it all. And I truly believe that I think the NFL should cancel, but no postponements. And now use promo code 12OZSports, all caps, with deposit bonus up to $1,000 for my bookie. Next up, New England Patriots and Kansas City Chiefs recap. Well, I know what everyone's saying on Monday. That, they would have won. Cam Newton. They had Cam Newton, they would have won. If they had Cam Newton, they would have won. And simply being put, that would not have happened, period. Wouldn't have happened. And then, hold on. Sorry for I'm not gathering my thoughts straight. But, So had Cam Newton played, the pace of the game would have been more up-tempo. It would have been more up-tempo and upbeat and all that other fun stuff. Because I'm telling you, sorry. So, I'm just going to read it straight off the script. The final score in this game was 26-10, and the game wasn't as close as the score indicates. I don't want to hear about Cam Newton playing and they would have won. The game would have been a lot different and Kansas City would have played with more urgency. It is obvious why the New England Patriots signed Cam Newton in the offseason. The simple reason why they signed him in the offseason is for the sole reason to play in big games, and yeah, they wouldn't have won. I can't go off the script today. Brian Hoyer, Jared Stidham, not very good at all. Stidham should start on Sunday for the New England Patriots against the Denver Broncos. If Cam Newton can't get cleared in time to play, and he is asymptomatic. Brian Hoyer completed 15 of 24 passes for 130 yards and 1 interception. Hoyer rushed for 8 yards and 1 carry. Jared Stidham completed 5 of 13 passes for 60 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Stidham rushed for 3 yards and 2 carries. Tyrann Mathieu had a 25-yard pick six in the fourth quarter, with less than 8:58 remaining in regulation. Damian Harris rushed for 100 yards and 17 carries. He's going to be a good back for them moving forward. Rex Burkhead rushed for 45 yards and 11 carries. N'Keal Harry caught 3 passes for 21 yards, receiving a touchdown. Julian Edelman caught 3 passes for 35 yards receiving. James White caught 7 passes for 38 yards receiving. He also rushed for 21 yards on 3 carries. Damiere Byrd caught 5 passes for 80 yards receiving. Patrick Mahomes was shaky in this game for the Kansas City Chiefs. He completed 19 of 29 passes for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also rushed for 28 yards on 8 carries. Clyde Edwards-Helaire rushed for 64 yards on 16 carries. He also caught 3 passes for 27 yards receiving. Travis Kelce caught 5 passes for 70 yards receiving. Tyreek Hill caught 4 passes for 64 yards receiving and a touchdown. Sammy Watkins, 4 passes for 43 yards receiving. He had a key fumble in the Chiefs early. They're up 6-0, and they only had a 6-3 lead at halftime. They didn't have Chris Jones. There was a key sack in the game in the first half. And Mecole Hardman Jr. caught 4 passes for 27 yards receiving, though, nonetheless. Atlanta Green Bay recap. Let's see. The Green Bay Packers won this game over the Atlanta Falcons by a final score of 30-16. And it didn't even feel that close either, though. The Falcons are just a bunch of duds, and the Packers, with Aaron Rodgers, is just toying around with everyone. They want to win the Super Bowl, though, nonetheless. Rodgers completed 27 of 33 for 327 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also rushed for 5 yards on 1 carry. Aaron Jones rushed for 71 yards on 15 carries. He also caught 5 passes for 40 yards receiving a touchdown. Robert Toyan, big game, helped me win fantasy. Caught 6 passes for 98 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns. Jamal Williams caught 8 passes for 95 yards receiving. He also rushed for 10 yards on 8 carries. Marquez Valdes-Scantling caught 4 passes for 45 yards receiving. Devontae Adams did not play in this game due to a foot injury. Allen Lazard is also out for the season with a core muscle injury, though, nonetheless. Matt Ryan completed 28 of 39 passes for 285 yards. He also rushed for 10 yards on 2 carries. Todd Gurley II rushed for 57 yards on 16 carries and 2 touchdowns. Also caught 1 pass for 6 yards receiving. Brian Hill rushed for 10 yards on 4 carries. Also caught 2 passes for 13 yards receiving. Olamide Zachuchis caught 8 passes for 86 yards receiving. Hayden Hurst 4 for 51. Julio Jones 4 for 32. Christian Blake 3 for 47. Calvin Ridley was held catches on Jaire Alexander, though nonetheless good defense by him. Bill O'Brien is fired. The Houston Texans have fired Bill O'Brien as head coach and general manager of this football team. So they got to try and find a new general manager. Romeo Crennel, who is 73 years old, will take over as the interim head coach in the time being. O'Brien won 52-48 in 6+ seasons. He won the AFC South title 4 times in 2014, 2015, 2018, and 2019. Bill O'Brien won 2-4 in the postseason. He blew a 24-0 lead against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC divisional round last season, though, nonetheless. They lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 4-0, the Baltimore Ravens, who are 3-1, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 3-0, and most recently the Minnesota Vikings, who are 1-3 this was recently last week by a score of 31-23, though, nonetheless. So which coaches are next to be fired? Definitely number 1, Dan Quinn. Number 2, Adam Gase of the New York Jets. Number 3, Anthony Lynn, Los Angeles Chargers. Number 4, Doug Marrone, Jacksonville Jaguars. And number 5, Joe Judge of the New York Giants. Coaches that could be hired as head coaches. Number 1, Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, Arthur Smith, offensive coordinator of Tennessee Titans. Number 3, Brian Daboll, offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. Number 4, Lincoln Riley, head coach of Oklahoma University football. Number 5, Dabo Swinney, head coach of Clemson University football. Number 6, Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator of San Francisco 49ers. And number 7, Jim Schwartz, Philadelphia Eagles defensive coordinator. So those are possible head coaching candidates. Let's see. MLB postseason recap. Let's see. Today's elimination Thursday. The Atlanta Braves over the Miami Marlins 2-0. I said that'd be a sweep. Los Angeles Dodgers over San Diego Padres 2-0. I don't know if y'all saw that Cody Bellinger catch last night. That was pretty fantastic. And Fernando Tatis saved the game. And then I predicted Dodgers in 5. I think the Padres are talented enough to win game 3 and 4, but I think the Dodgers will prevail in the series. Houston Astros, their offense has been very good. They're leading that series over the Oakland Athletics 2-1. I'm surprised Houston's winning this series, but what's not surprising is how bad the Oakland Athletics pitching has been. And Tampa Bay Rays over New York Yankees 2-1. Funny thing is, I said the A's in 4, but it's going to have to be in 5 or I'm going to be proven wrong. And as for the Tampa Bay Rays and the New York Yankees, 2-1. I said the Rays will win that in... Oh, I did say Rays in 5, I said. So I can believe that the Yankees are going to win tonight, but the Rays win game 5. Oh boy, home run derbies all over the place in the American League. And a very interesting thing is all the teams are undefeated so far in the postseason when they outduel the other team in homers. Simply put, hit the long ball. So, game 3 today, 2:08 Atlanta, Miami, FS1. 3:35 p.m. TBS, Houston, Oakland. And then 7:10 Eastern on TBS. Both of those games on TBS. Features. Who's it going to feature? It's going to feature the Yankees and the, what's it called? The Rays. And then, next, 9:08, 9:09, Dodgers, Padres. Here are your pitching matchups. Kyle Wright versus Sixto Sanchez. Frankie Montas versus Zach Greinke. Potentially Zach Greinke. It's to be decided. He has yet to pitch in this series. I can't imagine that he's not going to pitch. Ryan Thompson versus Jordan Montgomery. Thompson makes his playoff debut. I have a bad feeling about Montgomery getting his behind kicked. So that Yankees bullpen, who's not been fantastic, better be ready. And so that Rays bullpen. First, I'm telling you, it's going to be like a 10-9 game in that one. It wouldn't surprise me. And then, to be decided for Los Angeles Dodgers, it was Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw in the first 2 games. I'm expecting probably Walker Buehler in game 3 versus Adrian Morejon. It'll probably be Chris Paddock in game 4. Mike Clevenger is probably done for the postseason for the Padres pitching staff. And now, one player on each team that has impressed me. Atlanta Braves, Dansby Swanson. Miami Marlins, Miguel Rojas. Los Angeles Dodgers, Cody Bellinger. San Diego Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. Houston Astros, George Springer. Marcus Semien, Oakland Athletics. Aaron Judge, New York Yankees. And Randy Arizona for the Tampa Bay Rays. So, that is all for baseball. National Hockey League. Let's see what the deal is with the National Hockey League. I will get to that in just a minute. Bear with me, folks. So here we go. Folks. All right. Noticeable. Okay, so the NHL draft. All right. New York Rangers selecting the first pick. Alexis Lafreniere, left winger, Rimouski Oceanic, QMJHL. Good pick. Los Angeles Kings with the second pick. Quinton Byfield, center, Sudbury Seawolves, OHL. I personally think he might be better than Lafreniere. We'll see. He's a freak of nature down the middle of the ice. Ottawa Senators, Tim Stutzel, left winger, Mannheim DEL. They're comparing him to Patrick Kane. I'm very curious to see the Harpy Hartzell of the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm curious to see how that's going to pan out moving forward. Detroit Red Wings, Lucas Raymond, left winger for Hollanda. They took a lot of overseas guys. General manager Steve Yzerman. Let's see. Number 5, Ottawa Senators, Jake Sanderson, defenseman, USA U18. Good pick for them. He's probably better than what Anaheim took at number 6, Ducks. Jamie Drysdale, defenseman, Erie Otters. Both good picks for them. Number 7, New Jersey Devils, Alexander Holtz, right winger, Dugargan. sniper on the right wing, compares himself to the great Alex Ovechkin, RPR of the Washington Capitals. Number 8, Buffalo Sabres, Jack Quinn, right winger, Ottawa 67's OHL. Buffalo, I have questioned their drafting ability. Well, that was because of their previous general manager, Jason Prowl. Casey Middlestone. I'm not sold on Rasmus Dahlin. I'm curious to see how this all going to wind up. Number 9, Minnesota Wild, Marco Rossi, center, same team, Ottawa 67s from the OHL. I got to give props to, because I believe Billy Guerin, the new general manager for Minnesota Wild, is going to be building up his own core like he did with the Pittsburgh Penguins as an assistant to Jim Rutherford. Number 10, the steal of the draft, the Winnipeg Jets, Cole Perfetti, center left winger, Saginaw Spirit, OHL. Number 11, Nashville Predators, Yaroslav Askarov, goalie, Neva St. Petersburg of the KHL. Now, I love the pick. Pekarine Zoldan, it tells me they're not sold on UC Saros. This is the best goaltending prospect since Andrei Vasilevsky in 2012 from the Tampa Bay Lightning, who now just won the Stanley Cup. Number 12, the Florida Panthers, Antoine Ludell, center, HIFK. 13, Carolina Hurricanes, another steal of the draft. Seth Jarvis, center, Portland Winterhawks, WHL, another sniper down the middle. You might pair up with Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov down the road. Number 14, good pick by the Edmonton Oilers, Dylan Holloway, center, Wisconsin, Big Ten. So, here's a question I want to ask. In the NBA and the NFL, once you declare for the drafts, you cannot go back to college. Now, this I'm specifically targeted more to the NBA than the NFL. The NFL, you will have at least played for 3 years. Because the NBA currently does a one-and-done system. In hockey, there are guys that have been declared for the draft after their freshman year and still could play for 3 more years, and the NHL team has their rights for 3 years. So, should that be the new norm in the NBA, which I'll get into in a minute? Should the new norm in the NBA be... Should the new norm in the NBA be you could draft a player after 1 year, let him go back to college for a couple of years? Probably not, because with all the agents and all that other interesting stuff. So, it's another thought for another day. Number 15, Toronto Maple Leafs from the Pittsburgh Penguins, Rajon Amarov, left winger, Russia. Noticeable trades on draft day. Pittsburgh Penguins acquire Jonathan Gruden. The Raiders! No, it's not the head coach of the Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. Nice try. I'll get in my NFL preview shortly. And a 2020 second round pick, 52nd overall, which happened to be a goaltender. Jim Rutherford replenished the farm system and goalies. That's what you do. It's not deep after Tristan Jarry and Casey DeSmith anymore. And we'll see what happens when free agency opens up tomorrow. Hopefully. And then the Ottawa Senators acquire Matt Murray. Good trade for both teams. Gruden's going to be starting with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. A very good decision. Nashville Predators acquire. And I'm going to like the Murray deal for Ottawa. He's excited about, I saw it on Twitter this morning, excited he's going to be going up against Brady Tkachuk in practice, not in games, because he likes the way he gets in the crease. He's like his brother Matthew Tkachuk of the Calgary Flames, and is that Keith Tkachuk, who played for the St. Louis Blues. Nashville Predators acquire Luke Kunin and the 101st overall pick in the 2020 NHL Draft. Minnesota Wild acquire Nick Bonino in the 37th and 70th overall picks in the 2020 NHL Draft. So that's a good trade for both sides. I'm not surprised about Bonino because, hey, Garrett knows Bonino very well. Knows him very well. From the days of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Los Angeles Kings acquire Elias Anderson. New York Rangers acquire 60th overall pick in the 2020 NHL Draft, though nonetheless. Let's see. Okay, let me redo that again. Los Angeles Kings acquired Elias Anderson. He gets out of New York. I think he's going to flourish with them. New York Rangers acquired a 60th overall pick. That was in the 2020 NHL Draft, though nonetheless. Columbus Blue Jackets acquire Max Domi. Montreal Canadiens acquire Josh Anderson, the 80th overall pick in the 2020 NHL Draft. The funny thing is, these two players were golfing with each other when this trade was announced, though nonetheless. All right. Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Tomorrow could be the day that LeBron James wins his 4th NBA title in franchise history. The Los Angeles Lakers are officially one win away from their first championship since the 2010 season in 7 games against the Boston Celtics. In the days of Kobe Bean Bryant, Lamar Odom, and Pau Gasol, though, and they've done lots of things very well. I would have Anthony Davis as my NBA Finals MVP, and not LeBron James. The final score in this game was 102-96. And they are going to Black Mamba jerseys, and everyone's like on Twitter when they saw it, it's over, it's over, it's over. The final score, okay, I said the final score, which was 102-96. LeBron James doesn't want to be on the other side of blowing a 3-1 lead, series lead this time around, when he helped the Cleveland Cavaliers do it alongside with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Tristan Thompson, and others, though. They did it against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The coaching battle then was Tyronn Lue versus Steve Kerr. And now it is Eric Spoelstra versus Frank Vogel, though nonetheless. LeBron James stats in game number 4. 28 points, 50% shooting from the field, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1 steal. Anthony Davis stats, 22 points, 50% shooting from the field, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, and 1 steal. Jimmy Butler stats, 22 points, 47.1% shooting from the field, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 block, and 3 steals. Tyler Herro stats, 21 points, 44.4% shooting from the field, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal, though nonetheless. Alright. So, I personally think the series is probably over tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I would love to talk more off script today, but it seems like I'm having problems too for... Let's see. So I went over very quickly and fondly for these first 22 minutes of the show today. The MLB, the NHL, and some NFL recaps. MLB, NHL, NBA. I touched all 4, but now that I'm deep into the show, let's use promo code 12OZ Sports, all caps, for deposit bonus up to $1,000 for my bookie. Let's go in the NFL Week 5 preview. So here in the NFL Week 5 preview, I went 9-6 with my picks last week. My record is 42-20-1. So far this season, though, I felt a lot better with my picks as of late, and we'll see where this goes this week. The Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions will be on a bye in Week 5, though, nonetheless, and the Buffalo Bills-Tennessee Titans game may be in jeopardy again. We'll see. I would rather see a cancellation, or as I forgot to mention, Drew Rosenhaus, an NFL agent, should add an extra week. But I'd rather see a cancellation than a team get an automatic loss. Keep the Bills and Titans undefeated. I think that I don't want to hear this forfeit nonsense, okay? And the truth of the matter is the Titans were working out off the field before the October 1st. It was September 30th. So the question is, what led to this outbreak? I mean, I thought the MLB should have canceled the Miami Marlins. No, I was calling for them to be removed. But you know what? Manfred didn't kick them out. Why Goodell can't do that? They didn't forfeit games. They just had to be delayed. They just played less games and made the playoffs. That's all. That's all this is. That's all it really is. Really? Alright, let's get moving with tonight's game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chicago Bears. This is the first time that Tom Brady and Nick Foles will be squaring off against each other since the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots Super Bowl. Now, you all probably remember that game. Philadelphia, New England, Brandon Graham strip sack of Tom Brady, highest scoring offense in like Super Bowl history, most yards. It appears as if the Tampa Bay offense is clicking in all terms right now, and Chicago's offense went southwards into Lake Erie last week after they lost to the Indianapolis Colts. This is going to be a competitive game until the very end. I think it's be very close. But we are going to see the difference between these two teams. Talent on offense and on defense, coached by Bruce Arians and Matt Nagy. Now, Scotty Miller is out. O.J. Howard out. Chris Godwin out for tonight. So hopefully Mike Evans, dressed up like Evan Fancy, that connection with Evans and Brady. And Nick Foles may go southwards again against the Todd Bowles defense, and then Chicago may have to go back to Mitchell Trubisky. We'll see how it all winds up. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win this game over the Chicago Bears by a final score 28-21. So my game of the week, Buffalo Bills, Tennessee Titans. As of right now, they're trying to play that game on track from Monday or Tuesday and try to move Buffalo, Kansas City from Thursday night next week to Saturday. We'll see how that goes. This is going to be a very tight game if it's played. Tennessee was off last week due to the coronavirus outbreak. They're still having issues, but they're hopeful to play. And Mike Vrabel will have his guys ready to roll. Sean McDermott will also have his team ready. Buffalo's on the road in tough places in back-to-back weeks. Yeah, very tough places to play back-to-back weeks. Tough places back-to-back weeks. This will be the first time this season that the Titans will allow fans into the stadium. Hey, you know what's funny? Seems like the coronavirus outbreak, I'm not trying to be superstitious, but ever since they said they could allow fans back in the stadium, they've had an outbreak. Titans, let's announce we can't have fans in the stadium, and maybe that they could, maybe the curse gets lifted. I know that they had fans for a soccer game at Nissan Stadium, downtown Nashville, Tennessee the other night, and I get it. Maybe it's the curse of the Titans, rather than remember the Titans. Maybe they don't need the fans there. Maybe it'll bring bad luck and bad superstitions. I mean, I guess. So, yeah, as I said, this will be the first time this season that the Titans will allow fans into Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. Josh Allen will continue to put up big numbers to Stephon Diggs. Ryan Tannehill will put up big numbers as well. He was the one that conducted his off-the-field workouts, and like he's going to get fined. I don't know about suspensions. I don't know what the penalty is going to be. Lots of draft picks. Who knows? The difference in this game is going to be Derrick Henry versus Devin Singletary. A.J. Brown is also expected back this week for Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans will take down the Buffalo Bills in this game by a final score of 35-28. They're going to be low on receivers. Yeah, got Khalif Raymond. It's going to be him and Khalif Raymond, a bunch of Jonnu Smith and Michael Pruitt and Anthony Fersker. And maybe Darrington Evans. You're thin on receiver because you got Corey Davis and Adam Humphries on the COVID list. Got a bunch of key players. Jeffrey Simmons, Daquan Jones. You got a lot of it. Brinkley, they got so many guys. They have like a fourth string tight end. I said Daquan Buckley. I'm losing. There's a lot. Oh, Christian Fulton. That's another guy that's on that list. Yep, so I believe the Tennessee Titans will win this game by a final score of 35-28. Upset special of the week. Miami Dolphins versus the San Francisco 49ers. With Jimmy Garoppolo potentially sidelined again, but he's projected maybe back this week. In this game, the San Francisco 49ers will go with either C.J. Beathard or Nick Mullins. Once again, if Garoppolo can't play. San Francisco also wishes they were playing either the New York Giants or the New York Jets once again at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. People complain about the turf, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Ryan Fitzpatrick is playing for his job and doesn't want to lose it to a tech Florida. Because if they drop to 1-4, Brian Flores might make the switch. And for some strange reason, I think Brian Flores will outcoach Kyle Shanahan, and the Miami Dolphins will upset the San Francisco 49ers in this game by a final score of 24-20. Blowout of the week, New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. For all of you bettors out there, this game is a -9.5 favorite for the Dallas Cowboys. This tells you how bad of a football team and how bad of an offense the New York Giants are. New York plays 3 straight divisional games in the NFC East and is still a reach, but Dallas will stomp them from the start. The Cowboys' defense will look like the 1985 Chicago Bears in this game. Daniel Jones will be horrid again, and Dak Prescott will put on a show. Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants, wants revenge in this game, but won't get it on Mike McCarthy's bunch. And Joe Judge will be on the hot seat. Let's be real. This Giants team's got no receivers. The Dallas Cowboys have 3 legitimate receivers. They have a lot going on. Dallas Cowboys will smash the New York Giants by a final score of 41-12. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Ezekiel Elliott, they're all going to go off. Wayne Gallman, Devontae Freeman, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, Caden Smith. And then they don't have Sterling Shepard. They don't have, Golden Tate. I don't understand his problem. And then Levin Tololo. He doesn't do much in the offense, and Elijah Penny, what's with the fullback? And then the Dallas Cowboys are going to look good on defense in this game. Dallas Cowboys will smash the New York Giants by a final score of 41-12. Los Angeles Rams versus the Washington football team. This is going to be a track game for the Los Angeles Rams against the Washington football team this week. Los Angeles look to be more sharp on offense this week, led by Jared Goff. The Rams defense, led by Aaron Donald, will stymie. It's going to be Kyle Allen, not Dwayne Haskins. Because Dwayne Haskins is his bench, and he hasn't even gotten team reps. So something's going on there. Kyle Allen and Alex Smith. There's a practice squad quarterback that was taking reps yesterday, so there's something going on between offensive coordinator Scott Turner, head coach Ron Rivera, and owner Daniel Snyder. Looks like there might be a threat in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes out of the University of Clemson. I couldn't be more right about that. Antonio Gibson and others on that offense as well. I just think it's going to be a potentially long day. Cooper Kupp, Bryce Brown, Darrell Henderson, others will be on offense for Los Angeles. This is the first time that Sean McVay has returned to Washington as a member of the Los Angeles Rams head coach, since being the offensive coordinator for the Redskins in 2016. Washington football team is going to love seeing him again, and Ron Rivera's inspiration could spark Washington, and we'll see if Chase Young is back for defense coordinator Jack Del Rio, though, nonetheless. It's not going to be enough with Allen and Antonio Gibson and whoever else. Terry McLaurin might be out this week, so that's going to be huge. Steven Sims may have to step up. Dontrell Inman's pretty good. And then on the Rams side, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, yeah, he's still there. Van Jefferson, and you got to see how this goes. The Los Angeles Rams will win this game in a nail-biter over the Washington football team by a final score of 21-20. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Keystone rivalry will be just in time for fans at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's going to be around like 7,500. Carson Wentz is going to get outplayed against Ben Roethlisberger. Wentz is going to cringe against the Pittsburgh Steelers front. The Philadelphia Eagles defense will be in for a long day. Javon Hargrave returns to Pittsburgh for the first time being a member of Philadelphia. Fletcher Cox has been silent, and his team still has way too many injuries. James Conner and Benny Snell Jr. are better than Boston Scott and Miles Sanders. The Steelers receiving corps is miles better than the Eagles, though, nonetheless. the Pittsburgh Steelers will pull away in the fourth quarter after being close for the first three quarters, and this will be a final score of 34-21. Arizona Cardinals against the New York Jets. Joe Flacco is going to be starting for Sam Darnold in this game for the New York Jets. This is going to be a disaster for the New York Jets offense. The Arizona Cardinals defense should tee up, but who knows? New York Jets don't do a lot of things with grace and class. They really don't. No, they don't at all. They're messing up Sam Darnold now. They also messed up Mekhi Becton last week against the Denver Broncos. And Cliff Kingsbury's not a good head coach if they don't find a way to win this game, because they potentially should. Cliff Kingsbury is a fake and a phony of an NFL head coach if he loses this game. It will be close some way somehow, but the New York Jets are the second worst team in the league and will lose this one. The Arizona Cardinals will win this game with the New York Jets by a final score of 28-14. I could see Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins going off, Joe Flacco, and Jamison Crowder. Ouch! And that's why the Arizona Cardinals will win this game over the New York Jets by a final score of 28-14. Vegas Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a blowout. I feel like it, and it won't be even close. The Kansas City Chiefs will look to be sharp once again. Patrick Mahomes is so much better than Derek Carr is, and the Vegas Raiders will be the fake tough guys in this game. You really think Max Crosby and Clelin Ferrell and whoever else is on that defense is really going to get after the Kansas City Chiefs? First of all, that's not happening. That is no way on this planet Earth that is going to happen with the Kansas City Chiefs, because they want to be more sharp from the get-go. As I said earlier, I think it's about pace. Patrick Mahomes is so much better than Derek Carr is, and the Vegas Raiders will be the fake tough guys in this game. This game could be over by the third quarter. The Kansas City Chiefs will win this game over the Las Vegas Raiders by a final score of 29-10. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Houston Texans. Okay. The Houston Texans are a big-time mess, and the Jacksonville Jaguars will look to bounce back any way possible in this game. Deshaun Watson could outplay Gardner Minshew II, but we will see how this is going to play out. So I saw on ESPN this morning that Deshaun Watson is on pace to have his worst outing of his career ever, despite having that one ACL injury year, tearing his ACL. I expect Houston, because J.J. Watt may request a trade from the Houston Texans. I think he should go to the Pittsburgh Steelers with Derek White and T.J. Watt. But I saw something this morning that the Baltimore Ravens might be very interested in him. And if you're the Houston Texans, you need to start stockpiling picks. Start trying to build. You got to get like some first round and some second round picks back, because you don't have a first or second round pick this year. From the Miami Dolphins trade with Delarmy Tunsil and Kenny Stills. And that's why O'Brien got fired, because he was terrible general manager. He really was. Now coaching didn't get him fired while he started. Well, players believe he started to lose the locker room. That's why Roman Cornell's now the head coach at 73 years old. He's just going to be the interim. And then I expect the Houston Texans to win its first game of the season over Jacksonville Jaguars by a final score of 23-20. Next game, Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Folks, now this is I usually do not do this on shows where it comes to injuries, factors, but I'm going to do this. There's a reason why when it comes to sports betting, they don't have a lot of key players are injured. So I'm going to do this here, because Lamar Jackson, there's a potential injury issue here this week for the Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens have Lamar Jackson out of practice due to precautionary reasons, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Jackson has a knee injury. Robert Griffin III would start if Jackson does not play. So here's the deal. I will go two ways here, and this is not the only game I'm doing this with. The Baltimore Ravens will win 30-16 over the Cincinnati Bengals with Lamar Jackson in. If he can't go, give me the Cincinnati Bengals to win the second straight game with Joe Burrow by a final score of 24-20. That's how I'm going to play it with this. Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. This is the game where the Carolina Panthers should be 0-4 and the Atlanta Falcons should be 2-2. But that's not the case. Carolina is one of the best underrated teams in the NFL. They believe they can make the playoffs, but no one else does. So it'll be interesting to see what is going to happen here. This could very well be the last game for Dan Quinn coaching Atlanta, and I think it is going to be. Matt Rule will continue to have fun with Carolina, though, nonetheless. The Carolina Panthers will win this game over the Atlanta Falcons, despite having Mike Davis over Christian McCaffrey in the backfield for a third consecutive game, by a final score of 20-17. Indianapolis Colts versus the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be one of the most entertaining games of the weekend. And this is going to have huge implications for the AFC wildcard standings later on in the season. This is going to be a fourth quarter football game. Phillip Rivers and Baker Mayfield won't do much in this game. I'm not expecting them to do much. Whichever team has their track shoes on and ready to go will win this game. No Nick Chubb for the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be relying on Dearness Johnson and Kareem Hunt. Maybe some creative plays with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. And I got to say, they're doing a lot of things with, they're doing a lot of good things lately over there. Won 3 straight games. So, Marlon Mack's not playing for this game for the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe Nyheim Hines will. Not sure if he will. Jordan Wilkins, then you got, and then I just mentioned the Cleveland Browns backfield situation. Now I just mentioned the Indianapolis Colts backfield situation. I'm not expecting like T.Y. Hilton or Paris Campbell to do much in this game either for the Indianapolis Colts. And I think the tight ends in this game are going to be used more, like David Njoku and Allen Cox, for blocking rather than catching. The Cleveland Browns will win this game with the Indianapolis Colts by a final score of 27-21. I'm curious to see how this is going to go, though, nonetheless. And the Cleveland Browns will win this game over the Indianapolis Colts by a final score of 27-21. Denver Broncos versus New England Patriots. Now, I've heard this game may also be postponed or canceled because of the whole New England Patriots coronavirus situation. Cam Newton got it. Stephon Gilmore now has it. And now there are memes trending over Twitter about Patrick Mahomes and how he spoke about him and his wife have to sleep on, him and his fiance, Brittany, have to like sleep in separate beds because his fiance's pregnant and all that stuff. He doesn't want anything to happen, so they're like sleeping on separate beds. It's like living different times in 2020. So, if this Denver Broncos versus New England Patriots game is played, this will be another game where I can pick from both sides. Brett Rypien could be good once again for the Denver Broncos this week. However, if Cam Newton doesn't play for the New England Patriots, it will be barf for Brian Hoyer, Jared Stidham, and the rest of the offense. I think they should go with Stidham, not Hoyer. You saw that. At least Stidham looked decently competent, unlike Hoyer. And people are like, how really bad is Jared Stidham compared to Brian Hoyer? So, without Cam Newton, the Denver Broncos win this game 20-16. If Cam Newton does play with Cam Newton, the New England Patriots will win this game by a final score of 30-21. Minnesota Vikings versus the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson is going to outduel Kirk Cousins. Even though Seattle's defense isn't hot, neither is Minnesota's defense. This could get ugly and fast here, though, nonetheless. What I mean by that is I think Minnesota could be in for a long game. But this could, as I said last week, Minnesota might just need one win. And then it gets all going and going and going and going and going. Ay, ay, ay. So, instead of me going off here, let's see. The Seattle Seahawks will win this game over the Minnesota Vikings by a final score of 40-21. Los Angeles Chargers versus New Orleans Saints. This is for next Monday night. Justin Herbert versus Drew Brees. This should be an exciting game, though, nonetheless. Sean Payton for New Orleans Saints will outcoach Anthony Lynn of the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles will do just enough to lose this game against New Orleans, though, nonetheless. I think that's what's really going to happen. New Orleans Saints will take down Los Angeles Chargers in this game by a final score of 38-35. I said the Seattle Seahawks will win this game over the Minnesota Vikings by a final score of 40-21. And now with the Los Angeles Chargers, New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints will take down Los Angeles Chargers in this game by a final score of 38-35. We'll see if that potentially goes on last second field goal or not. NFL Week 5 bold predictions. Number 1. Nick Foles outduels Tom Brady once again. Number 2. Ryan Fitzpatrick throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Number 3. Josh Allen and Ryan Tannehill duel it out. Number 4. Gardner Minshew II outplays Deshaun Watson. Number 5. The Jets don't reach 100 yards, a total offense. That would be so pathetic. And seriously, that would at that point really just be a fireable offense. So we'll see how these bold predictions wind up, though, nonetheless. Sometimes I don't pay attention to them. What happens, I only pay attention, the first week or two, and then it was yikes. So I just do this for I just do this for the crowd. I do this for all the crowd that appreciates me. So, in the final 9 minutes of the show, let's go over the top 10 teams entering Week 5 of the NFL season, starting with number 10, the Cleveland Browns. Folks, you all do realize that they're 3-1, and they actually look like a competent football team under head coach Kevin Stefanski? You realize they actually look like a competent football team. Yeah, I know what y'all want to say and who they beat in the last 3 weeks. I get it. Folks, you're 3-1 for a reason. You're a good team if you could beat up on the bad teams. And Stefanski's really fixed things after the first week. You know what they say? You improve from week 1 to week 2, and they're improving. But they got to fix that defense up a little bit. They were not ranked last week. Number 9, the Los Angeles Rams. Jared Goff, Sean McVay, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald. You got to say, I wasn't sold on the Rams until they went to 3-1. Yeah, they just squeaked by the New York Giants. But let's be real. The New York Giants stink from the S to the K. And the Los Angeles Rams are good from the G to the D. Let me just say it like that, okay? I gotta say, they're pretty good. They were not ranked last week either. Number 8, the Seattle Seahawks. They're this low because I think, number 1, they're way too Russell Wilson dependent. Watch the Seattle Seahawks play. You got Jamal Adams out again with an injury on Sunday. Russell Wilson is spectacular. Probably, I think, the front runner for MVP through the first 4 weeks of the NFL season. I mean, what without him, you think this team is 10-6? They're 2-14. You want to talk about a team that would tank for Trevor Lawrence? They didn't have Russell Wilson. I mean, really? I mean, come on. Let's get the program here. And they were also ranked number 8 last week. Number 7, Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen. I mean, this guy has really developed. I mean, you got to give props to where props to do. That franchise does a lot of things grace and class. They really do. So, I'm just going to say this. They're well disciplined by Sean McDermott. Stephon Diggs is a big difference. Josh Allen's taking that step. He's also an MVP candidate. Not sure if he's going to win the MVP, but he's in the conversation with Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks, Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, and Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers. That defense is also pretty good. They were ranked around the same spot last week. Number 6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, Mike Evans, defense underrated, very good coaching staff. It seems like they're starting to click. Leonard Fournette, and then Bruce Arians, very solid head coach. Tom Brady's on a mission. He wants to win the Super Bowl. I mean, what? You got the Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup against the Dallas Stars in 6 games. Excuse me. Hold on for 1 second. In 6 games. And now you got the Tampa Bay Rays 1 win away from their second trip to the ALCS in franchise history. That was the year they went to the World Series in 2008 and lost to the Philadelphia Phillies in 5 games. So it's championship fever in Tampa Bay right now, and they were ranked last week number 6 as well. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, Marquise Brown, and John Harbaugh is well coached. I mean, John Harbaugh coaches them well enough. You got Greg Roman, the offense coordinator, and they're also very good on the defensive side of the ball. They're rumored to maybe get J.J. Watt. They already got Calais Campbell. You know what this all in the stack means? They don't trust Lamar Jackson players. You got to get all these guys on defense because you know you can't trust Lamar Jackson in the big game. Sheesh. He spoke about how like you can't get, he's concerned about the passing yards. Well, you got to look yourself in the mirror. I know he's a good kid. He works hard. He works hard. He does a lot of good things. It's just that maybe he's just only has a certain ceiling. They're also ranked number 5 last week. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But before I get to the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 4, so back to Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Marquise Brown. Oh, and Mark Andrews also a valuable tight end for Lamar Jackson. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, Juju Smith-Schuster. That's a very deep receiving core. I think it's 4 deep. James Washington, Chase Claypool. Where's Chase Claypool on the field? And Deontay Johnson. You got tight end production, not very good with Eric Ebron and Vance McDonald. Solid offensive line. And very proud of Zach Banner for getting back to workouts today. Good for him. The medical staff and doctors and nurses, whoever else, cleared him. And so that's good for him. And then the offensive line led by Ramon Foster. Pretty good too. No, Ramon Foster's retired. Excuse me for that. I apologize for that. I meant David DeCastro. Number 3, and they were also ranked number 4 last week. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers continues to sling it out. Robert Toyon, Devontae Adams, and Alan Lazar, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I mean, who are these guys that Aaron Rodgers throws to? Maybe he just needed a quarterback. Maybe that's why they drafted Jordan Love, to get the best out of Aaron Rodgers, who said he needed another receiver. Look at the way he's playing. He's absolutely killing it and torching it. And they were ranked number 3 last week as well. Number 2. And hopefully this team gets back to the field sooner rather than later, because I think they're one of the best teams in the NFL. Number 2, the Tennessee Titans. Ryan Tannehill, they put points up in their sleep. 30 points. They could put up 30 in your sleep. They get timely pass rushing when they need to. I know they're slim right now. They got the COVID list. They're like the San Francisco 49ers injury list. But hey, they're 3-0. San Francisco's 2-2. This is why Tennessee's number 2. I think they're a threat to the Kansas City Chiefs. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Khalif Raymond. Yeah, I just think they're very deep and well coached by Mike Vrabel. Last but not least, at number 1, Tennessee Titans were ranked number 2 last week. And number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. Shocker, they're 4-0. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, DeMarcus Robinson, McCall Harmon Jr., Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. Impressive defensive performance. Yeah, it was against backups without Chris Jones. But the truth of the matter is let's see how it's going to go from here on out with the Kansas City Chiefs. And they were also ranked number 1 last week. So for all you folks that just tune in, or whoever else, and here's a recap of the top 10 teams. Number 10, the Cleveland Browns. Number 9, the Los Angeles Rams. Number 8, the Seattle Seahawks. Number 7, the Buffalo Bills. Number 6, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. Number 2, the Tennessee Titans. And number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think the top 8 is pretty much the same from last week, except that I took out the Chicago Bears and the San Francisco 49ers for Cleveland and the Rams. And then you got Seattle Seahawks, Buffalo Bills, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, Tennessee Titans, and the Kansas City Chiefs in again, which is not a shock or a surprise. So that's how I feel with these NFL rankings. I hope you all enjoy it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of time here. Thanks for tuning in Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. I hope you all enjoyed it with your host, Glenn Kaplan. I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend as well. You will be back with your host, Glenn Kaplan, on Monday at the same time. I will go over recaps from the 5th week of Thursday and Monday night and Sunday night and Sunday night football. Thursday, Sunday night football. NBA, MLB, and NHL updates. Also, ladies and gentlemen,